Hey, church family, we're the youth pastors, and you're here coming and talking to you about why does evil exist? If God is good, why does evil exist? Pastor Jason?
Yeah, so if you remember, we're right in the middle of this If series. It's a 6-week-long series. We started by asking if someone says they're a Christian, what does that mean? Took a couple weeks to talk about that. And now we're in this question. And for many people, this is the question. If God exists, if God is good, then why is there evil? And as we were talking about in Sabbath school, Albert Einstein, Charles Darwin, for many great minds, and honestly, a lot of prominent atheists in our world today, in North America today, this is the question. It's not math, it's not science, it's if the reason they can't understand or they can't believe in a personal God is because they can't answer this question. If God, why evil? So this is why we're talking about it.
Yeah, and when we talked about it, we made sure to talk about how it's really a deeply emotional question. It's rooted in our souls. We can't wrap our minds around, if God exists, why is there evil? And what was there was a Bible figure, a prominent figure in the Bible that we really noticed.
Right, so you can ask your student or a kid that's in the youth group. We talked about your Joel. We talked about Job's friends in the Bible, and typically, we know the story of Job, but then when the friends come along, we kind of give them a hard time. But actually, they did what they were supposed to do initially, and then they opened their mouth. And what Job's friends did for him was they just sat with him for a week, and they just lived with him. They wept with him. And so at the end of the day, I think it's important to recognize with this question of if God, why evil, it is deeply emotional. And sometimes a logical academic answer isn't what we should do. Sometimes we should just sit and be and love or hug the person who may be asking this question, because it is deeply emotional.
For sure. And when we were looking at this, we had a couple really deep questions that we hope that you can spend some time discussing with your kids. And those are, if God is all-powerful, could he stop evil? Is that something that he can do? If God is all good, will he want to stop evil? And yet, evil still exists.
Right, and so for many people, this is the logical argument. Well, if God is good, then he would want to stop evil. If he's all-powerful, then he could stop evil. But yet we have it so that either means evil doesn't exist. But as we spent some time talking about, we all know that evil exists. We've all experienced the pain and the hurt of evil. So that can't be it. So then for many, the logical next step is, well, that must mean that God doesn't exist.
Moving forward, we're going to be looking at what we're going to be talking about this very next Sabbath. So we've discussed what's going to happen last Sabbath. So this next Sabbath, what's our topic going to be on?
Well, so really, what we're talking about is we have to answer this evil question. And at the end of the day, one of the things that we discussed was the only way you can really understand something sometimes is to recognize the contrast, right? And so just the pure reality that we understand that evil exists, we've all experienced evil, that's actually an argument for good, because we can understand evil when we compare it to something else, when we compare it to good. So last week we used that as a springboard that yes, we understand evil, we all experience evil, but this must clearly communicate that good exists and good trumps evil. The line of rationale was that ultimately, and I would encourage you to ask your kid this, we said that it is possible for pure good to exist. It is possible for pure good to exist, but it is impossible for pure evil to exist. In fact, what we said was evil is actually the pursuit of good done wrong. And so ultimately, this whole idea of good trumps, we understand evil exists because we understand good. But unlike Taoism and unlike the yin-yang, where some people say, well, evil and good are just equal and opposites, and they kind of bring about balance, we can say that that's not true, because evil is actually the pursuit of good. It's actually trying to get good. It's just done wrong. Therefore, good trumps evil. God is more powerful than the devil. And that is going to serve as a springboard to, well, why did God create the devil? In this whole idea of, well, there must be freedom because God is love, and in order for love to exist, love can only exist in a state of freedom. So this next week we're going to talk about freedom. We're going to be talking about love, and then ultimately God's wrath as a part. And what does that mean? How does that work in all of this mess? So
thank you so much for watching our video. We hope to continue to get these out for you guys. We hope that in your homes that you're having good quality conversations about, if God is good, why does evil exist? Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Sabbath.
Yeah, blessings.